How do you avoid crippling low back pain and sciatica? So low back pain and sciatica are the #1 cause of disability in the world. It's more disabling than any other health condition, and it's more expensive than any other health condition. I'm going to teach you why that is and what you can do about it. So let's dive in. Low back pain literally is the #1 cause of disability in the entire world. It is responsible for more years lived with disability than any other health condition, period. You do not want this to become your life, right? This is why it's so important to get on top of it. So if you have a disc herniation, sciatica, disc degeneration, disc bulges, protrusions, you really want to get on top of it now because it is the #1 cause of disability in the entire world, but not just physically. Financially, it's more expensive than any other condition in the world. If you have low back pain, you are likely, if it's chronic, if you live with this for the rest of your life, it is going to be the most expensive health condition on the planet. I'm going to get into that and why you need to fix it and what you can do about it. Obviously, what you care about is, okay, all right, it's bad, it's serious, you should take it seriously. But how do you actually fix it? How do you actually get back to running, skipping, jumping, hopping, playing with your kids, playing with your grandkids, hiking, swimming, whatever, golf? What is it that you want to do? How do you actually get back to the active life that you deserve to be living? Well, first, I'll say this, stick around to the end of the video because I will tell you exactly how to do that. But first, I want to tell you why it's so disabling in the first place. So first, let's define disability. So disability is the inability to do basic activities of daily living. So things like walking, things like lifting heavy objects, or maybe picking up a bag of groceries, things like twisting, right? You got to reach over and put your seatbelt on in the car, or turning around to check your blind spot in the car. Things that are normal parts of daily living, right? Rolling over in bed. This is a big one for people with low back pain and sciatica, is they tend to have pain rolling over in bed or with transitional movements like standing up from a seated position or sitting down from a standing position or getting up out of a chair. Like whatever it is, transitional movements seem to be very painful when you have acute or a big flare-up of low back pain and sciatica. So if you cannot do these things, that is going to be have a very disabling effect on your life. Now you suddenly can't do basic chores. You can't go grocery shopping. You can't get in and out of a car without pain. You can't play with your kids. You can't do any of the activities that you love to do. And it can get way, way worse than that, right? So, I mean, it really does take your life from you. I work exclusively online with people who have low back pain and sciatica. That's what I specialize in. And I can see how, I mean, they can't pick up their kids. You know, they just had a brand new baby and they can't even pick up the baby without excruciating sciatica running down their legs. You know, they can't go out and have a social life. So you have chronic pain, you become kind of a hermit because you have to keep canceling plans. You can't actually go hang out with the people that you love, your friends and your families. You can't go dancing. You can't go out to clubs. You can't go hiking with friends. You can't go do the things you love to do. And forget about sports, things like golf, or you know, maybe you like riding your bike, mountain biking, or maybe you like surfing, or whatever it is. Forget about sports. If you've got chronic low back pain and sciatica, that stuff is out the window if you're dealing with something that is as disabling, right? Again, if you cannot do basic activities, you're screwed. And if you here's the deal, if you let it go on long enough, then it's really a problem. If you just got low back pain for the first time in your life, it's probably going to go away on its own. All right, that's the truth. Most of the time, this stuff fixes itself. But if it's been going on for more than 3 months, if it's chronic pain is pain that lasts for 3 months or more, now you really need to get on top of it. You need to do something about it now, because if it gets bad enough, the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. And then you're starting to live this life where it's like, oh, now I can't walk if I want to. If I wanted to take my dog for a walk, I don't even have that option anymore, right? God forbid you fall down and you can't get up. You're stuck on the floor because you can't get up. This is after living with low back pain and sciatica for decades, right? Or just having one really bad flare up. I know people who are young, in their 30s and 40s that I've worked with who have had low back pain flare ups. They're in their 30s or 40s. And these are people like one of my first clients ever, Connor, and he would have these flare-ups and he'd be like laid out for days, couldn't do shit. And he's normally doing karate, hiking 14ers, all kinds of stuff. So if you can get you don't have to be, this is not just old people that fall and can't get up. This is people with low back pain who are young and otherwise healthy, and they can't live the life that they should be living, okay? And then, really it can get bad where you can't even go to the bathroom by yourself. That's not a good look, right? If you have to have help getting up and down off the toilet, that is a bad, bad day in your life, right? It's really kind of downhill from there. So you got to get on top of it because low back pain and sciatica are absolutely crippling, both physically as well as mentally. I've been there. It is devastating. That's why I ended up turning to, alcohol to try to fix my pain because it was the only pain relief I could get. Fortunately, I found a better way, and that's why I make these videos to show you a better way. But it's also, financially devastating. Most expensive health condition on the planet, right? And expensive even if you don't get a solution, which is the trouble. Things like drugs and surgery, very expensive, don't actually fix the root cause. So to put this into perspective, chronic low back pain is more disabling than cancer. It is responsible for more years lived with disability than cancer or heart disease or diabetes or depression or infectious disease. Okay, low back pain is literally the most disabling health condition on the planet. Now, obviously, cancer and heart disease, terrible because those can kill you. Even diabetes can kill you. Infectious disease can kill you. Low back pain is not going to kill you. It's just going to torture you for the rest of your life, okay? And it is more disabling than cancer and heart disease. Insane, right? And it's more expensive than heart disease or cancer or mental health conditions or autoimmune conditions. So again, more expensive than any other health condition on the planet, which you never would have thought. Low back pain, people just deal with it. They just figure that they have to just live with it. I'm telling you right now, do not accept that. Do not accept that pain is now your new normal. The longer you live with it, the worse it's going to get. You do not have to just live with chronic pain forever. There is a solution, but you got to get on top of it. Okay, the cost of surgery is between $7,000 and $77,000 for a surgery that doesn't even work. And all that does is buy you maybe one good year. Shit, if I'm spending almost $80,000 on a solution, I better get more than just one decent year. I better not be living in disability the rest of my life, right? I better be active well into my 80s and 90s. I want to be active if I'm going to pay $80,000 for a solution. Are you kidding me? And surgery does not tend to do that for most people. Not always, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't solve the problem. On top of that, the other reason it's so disabling and financially disabling is because it takes you away from work. So let's take some nice easy round numbers. Let's say somebody had a $100,000 salary and the average missed time for a flare-up of low back pain is 18 days per flare-up. Well, that's $7,000 of missed income because you cannot work because your low back pain or sciatica are so disabling. And that's just the average numbers, right? And that's just one flare-up. On top of that, what most people are prescribed is drugs. They're given opiates, NSAIDs, muscle relaxers, that type of thing, gabapentin. And the average annual cost spent on these medications that don't fix the root problem, they just are a pain reliever, is $6,500, right? So you're spending thousands of dollars, almost $7,000 a year on medications that don't fix the problem in the first place. And they come with major side effects to your body, your liver, your kidneys, digestion, as well as major risks of addiction as well. So if you add that up, right, the annual cost, let's say you have a surgery, you're given drugs, you miss some income for the recovery, you're easily spending $50,000 in a year on low back pain. This is why it's the most expensive health condition on the planet. If you actually add up those costs over a lifetime, let's say 20 years, you have a couple of surgeries, one flare-up per year for 20 years, you're looking at spending as much, you're buying a house with your low back pain. You're spending easily over $340,000 to try to fix low back pain, and you're not even fixing it. You're not even addressing the root cause by getting surgeries, drugs, and taking time off of work to try to recover. You're not even addressing the root cause. This is why chronic low back pain is the most expensive health condition on the planet. Oh, and by the way, you're probably going into debt in order to do it. You're probably taking out a bunch of medical debt, so it's that much plus interest over many, many years. Oh, and it's just getting worse, right? Because our healthcare costs are rising and the quality is declining. You'd think we'd be getting better and better at fixing this, but we're not. We're getting worse at it and it's getting more expensive. Why is it getting more expensive? Well, because you're just getting cookie cutter bullshit treatment, right? Why is the treatment getting worse over time? You're getting cookie cutter bullshit treatment. You're having shorter appointment times because doctors only get paid per visit, and so they just squeeze in as many patients as they possibly can. You're not getting customized results. You're not getting individualized care. And because they're just ignoring the evidence. The evidence says, I need to take the time to get to know you. The evidence says, I need to actually give you a holistic solution. The evidence says, I need to give you education, exercise, and empower you to actually heal yourself through exercise, meditation, stress reduction, sleep, nutrition, and actually modifying your lifestyle, right? But doctors don't have time for that. So of course the quality of care is going way downhill. So how do you fix it? How do you get back to the active life you want to live? Well, there's three main things. If you want to get back to running, skipping, hopping, jumping, working out, playing sports, doing yoga, playing with your kids, this is how you do it, all right? It's not fixing your posture, it's not fixing your alignment, it's definitely not surgery or drugs. The way to do it, this is what the evidence says, is number one, exercise. Find some form of exercise that does not piss off your back. Do it until it becomes easy, and then eventually do harder things and harder things and harder things. You got to just take it one step at a time. That can be hard because you don't know what is too easy or too hard. When should you push through pain? When should you avoid pain? I realize there's a lot more nuance with this, but the big picture is you need to find some form of exercise. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fix this. Number two, stress relief. Far overlooked. Most people are not taking it seriously, but you must address stress. Stress is one of the largest predictors of low back pain, period. You're more likely to have low back pain if you have a high-stress job or high-stress life than you are to have low back pain if you have quote-unquote bad posture, right? Or even a disc herniation is not a good predictor of low back pain. But stress is a very good predictor of low back pain. So you have to find some way to blow off steam. You got to do it. Number three, you need guidance and a community. You can't do this alone. You need some guidance, you need some help, you need people who have been through it before to show you the path. If I've been to the top of the mountain because I fixed my own chronic pain, which I did, and I did it holistically with meditation, exercise, breath work, nutrition, sleep, changing the people, places, and things that are in my life. If I can do that, and I've done that for myself, and I've done that hundreds of times with other people, then certainly I can help you because I know the fastest route to the top of the mountain. So you don't have to climb the mountain alone. Get a Sherpa, right? I mean, really, at the end of the day, yeah, cool, I'm a doctor and I've got all these, fancy credentials after my name, but at the end of the day, I'm a glorified Sherpa. I'm a guide. I'm there to help show you the way up the mountain, but you have to take those steps. You've got to walk it. But if you don't hire a Sherpa, if you don't have somebody guiding you along the way, very easy to get lost along the way up the mountain, very easy to get frustrated, very easy to give up. So it's really important to have guidance and community, other people that are going through it with you. So if you want to know how to conquer chronic low back pain and sciatica holistically, the best way to do it is I put together a whole masterclass. It's in the description. It'll teach you everything you need to know to fix chronic low back pain and sciatica without drugs or surgery. watch that video now, and I will see you in another